Have you ever noticed that your balance feels a little off, even when you're just standing still or walking across the room? Maybe you feel a slight wobble when you stand up from a chair, or a little hesitation when you start walking, and you might have brushed it off thinking it's nothing, just normal aging or fatigue. But these small shifts in your balance can actually be one of the earliest signs of nerve cell damage. And it's something you want to pay attention to, because your nervous system is constantly communicating with your muscles to keep you upright and coordinated. And when those signals start to slow down or misfire, even slightly, your body responds in ways you might not immediately recognize, like swaying a little more than usual or needing support when standing from a low seat. And the interesting thing is that this subtle imbalance often appears long before more obvious problems, so it's easy to ignore. Yet it's a crucial window of time to take notice and make adjustments before things progress. You might even notice that when you walk, your steps feel uneven, like your feet aren't landing exactly where you want them to, or that you take slightly shorter or longer strides than usual without thinking about it. And it's not about being clumsy, it's your nervous system trying to tell you that the connections between your brain and muscles are starting to falter, and that message manifests in these subtle, almost imperceptible ways. And sometimes you might catch yourself holding onto furniture or walls more than you used to just to feel steady. Or you might notice that your body leans slightly to one side when walking and you don't even realize it. And these micro adjustments your body makes are attempts to compensate for the declining coordination. And if you're paying close attention, you can actually catch patterns emerging, like moments when you hesitate before taking a step, or when turning corners feels a bit more awkward, or when you climb stairs and feel your weight shift in unexpected ways because your balance isn't as automatic as it once was. And what's really important is to notice these changes early, because balance is one of the first things affected when nerve cells are damaged, and by recognizing the signs, you can start making changes to protect your nervous system, like engaging in balance exercises or physical therapy to strengthen the connection between your brain and muscles, or making simple lifestyle changes that support nerve health, like proper nutrition, hydration, and consistent movement. And sometimes even just becoming aware of the shifts in your body's ability to balance can help you move more mindfully, preventing falls or injuries that might otherwise occur. And it's fascinating how your body tries to compensate, but you might feel moments of unsteadiness, like a tiny wobble as you shift your weight, or the instinct to reach out for support when you wouldn't have before. And even these small observations, if tracked over time, can provide important clues about the health of your nervous system. And learning to notice and respond to them early gives you a real advantage in maintaining mobility and independence as you age. And it's not about creating anxiety or fear, it's about being curious and aware, and using your body's subtle signals as a guide to taking proactive steps before bigger problems emerge. And even small adjustments in your daily routine, like practicing standing on one leg for a few seconds at a time, or walking slowly and mindfully while focusing on each step, can gradually strengthen your balance. And noticing these early signals allows you to intervene in ways that support long-term nerve and muscle health. And it's remarkable how much insight a simple observation, like a moment of imbalance, can give you about your overall nervous system function. Have you ever noticed that your legs feel unusually stiff when you get up in the morning or after sitting for a while? Like they're heavier than usual. And it's not the typical tiredness you feel after exercise, but a kind of resistance when you try to move. And at first, you might think it's just part of getting older, or maybe you didn't stretch enough. But stiffness and heaviness in your legs can actually be one of the earliest signs that your nerve cells aren't functioning properly, because your nerves are responsible for sending signals from your brain to your muscles, telling them when and how to move. And when these signals are delayed or disrupted, your muscles don't respond as smoothly as they should, so you feel this drag or effort, even when doing simple things like lifting your feet to walk or standing up from a chair. And it can start subtly, like you notice that taking a few steps feels slightly more cumbersome, or that your stride isn't quite as fluid as it used to be, and over time, the stiffness can become more noticeable, like your legs feel weighted down, almost as if they're less responsive to your intentions. And sometimes you might find that after a long walk or period of standing, the heaviness increases, making it harder to maintain your usual pace or rhythm. And you might catch yourself pausing more often, or shifting your weight from one leg to the other, trying to compensate for the lack of smooth movement. And what's interesting is that this stiffness doesn't always come with pain at first. It can just feel like a resistance or tension in your muscles. But it's your nervous system signaling that something is off. And if you're paying attention, you might notice patterns. Like your legs feel tighter at certain times of day or after specific activities, or you realize that climbing stairs or getting out of a low seat is more challenging than it used to be. And the sensation can even extend to your feet and hips, because nerve cell damage can affect multiple muscle groups at once, making coordination and ease of movement more difficult. And this is why noticing the heaviness early is so important, because small adjustments in lifestyle, like gentle stretching, low impact exercise and strengthening routines, can help maintain mobility and prevent further decline. And even simple activities like walking slowly and mindfully, lifting your legs intentionally, or doing balance exercises can reduce stiffness over time and support nerve function. And paying attention to how your legs feel during everyday activities like standing, walking, or bending can give you a clear picture of your nervous system's health. And it's fascinating how your body communicates through these subtle sensations, letting you know that your muscles aren't receiving the signals they need efficiently. And when stiffness and heaviness start to appear consistently, it's a signal to take action rather than ignore it, because the sooner you address the issue, the better your chances of preserving coordination and strength, and making changes like improving circulation through movement, staying hydrated, and ensuring adequate intake of nutrients that support nerve health, like B vitamins and omega-3s, can have a noticeable effect on reducing stiffness. And over time, by paying attention and responding proactively, you can prevent these early signs from developing into more serious mobility challenges. And noticing stiffness in your legs is really about tuning in to your body's communication system, understanding the subtle language of muscle resistance and heaviness, and taking steps to maintain smooth, coordinated, and comfortable movement. Have you ever paid attention to the way you walk and noticed that your steps feel a little different, maybe uneven or off rhythm? And at first, you might think it's just fatigue or that you're distracted, but subtle changes in your step pattern can actually be an early sign of nerve cell damage, because your nerves are responsible for coordinating every movement in your body, sending precise instructions from your brain to your muscles to create smooth, balanced motion. And when these signals start to misfire or slow down, your walking rhythm can change without you even realizing it. You might notice that one foot drags slightly behind the other, or that your steps are shorter or longer than usual, and sometimes it feels almost automatic, like your legs aren't quite listening to your brain. And over time, these small irregularities can become more noticeable. Maybe friends or family comment that you're walking differently, or that you seem less steady when moving. And even slight changes in how your feet land can impact your balance and overall coordination, creating a ripple effect throughout your posture and gait. And sometimes the changes are subtle enough that only careful observation reveals them, like noticing a slight shuffle instead of a normal stride, or realizing that your turns or pivots aren't as smooth as they used to be. And what's remarkable is how much information your walking pattern can provide about the health of your nervous system, because every step is a complex communication between brain, nerves and muscles. And when the nerves start deteriorating, even a small disruption in this system shows up in your movement. And these changes can happen gradually, so you might ignore them at first, attributing them to tiredness, slippery floors or uneven surfaces, but consistent patterns of uneven steps, dragging toes, or irregular stride length are worth paying attention to, because they signal that your nerves aren't transmitting signals as effectively as they should, and it's not always painful or uncomfortable, but the visual cue is often one of the earliest warnings before more severe symptoms appear. And you might notice that walking longer distances feels more difficult, or that you need to consciously focus on your steps to avoid stumbling, or that stairs and inclines feel trickier than before, and sometimes it comes with additional sensations like slight numbness or tingling in the feet or legs, which compounds the irregularity in your gait. And even simple daily activities, like walking from one room to another, may feel less fluid than they once did. And recognizing these subtle shifts gives you a chance to take proactive measures to protect your nervous system, like balance exercises, targeted strengthening, or consulting a professional to assess your gait and nerve function. And becoming aware of your walking pattern also allows you to adjust your movements in a mindful way, reducing the risk of trips, falls, or injuries. And you can even start practicing specific exercises that retrain your muscles and improve the communication between your nerves and brain, enhancing coordination and making walking feel smoother again. And the key is paying attention early, because once you start noticing patterns of uneven steps or dragging toes, it's a signal to listen to your body, monitor changes, and take steps that support long-term nerve and muscle health. And the more you observe your gait, the more you understand the subtle language of your body, how small irregularities in steps reflect the underlying nerve activity, and how mindful movement can help maintain mobility and prevent further deterioration. Have you ever experienced a strange tingling or numbness in your feet or legs? That pins and needles sensation that seems to appear out of nowhere, sometimes after sitting for a while or even during the night, and at first you might dismiss it as poor circulation or maybe just sitting awkwardly. But persistent tingling and numbness can actually be one of the earliest signs that your nerve cells are not functioning properly, because your nerves are responsible for sending accurate signals between your brain and your body. And when they are damaged or stressed, those signals get interrupted, creating unusual sensations like burning, prickling, or a feeling of pins and needles. And sometimes the sensations come and go, making them easy to ignore. But even intermittent tingling is your body trying to alert you that the communication between your brain and muscles is being disrupted. And you might notice that one foot or leg is more affected than the other, or that the sensation increases after standing or walking for a period of time, or that your feet feel numb when you wake up in the morning, and this can impact your walking and balance, because numbness reduces your ability to feel the ground under your feet, which makes it harder for your muscles to respond accurately to movement. And over time, this lack of sensory feedback can create subtle changes in your gait, like dragging your toes slightly or shifting weight unevenly. And it's not always painful at first, but the discomfort and awkwardness in movement can gradually increase if ignored. And what's interesting is that tingling and numbness often appear before more obvious signs of nerve damage, giving you an early opportunity to intervene. And you might also notice that the sensation worsens with certain activities, like standing for long periods, walking barefoot, or even just wearing tight shoes. And the intensity can vary, sometimes a mild tingling, sometimes a stronger burning feeling. And it's your nervous system's way of signaling that it's under stress, and even small, persistent episodes deserve attention because they indicate that your nerves are struggling to transmit signals efficiently, and ignoring them can allow the damage to progress, affecting coordination, muscle strength, and overall mobility. And paying attention to these sensations can help you take proactive steps, like adjusting your posture, incorporating gentle movement, stretching, or consulting a healthcare professional to assess nerve function, and nutritional support such as B vitamins, magnesium, and omega-3 fatty acids can help maintain nerve health and reduce discomfort, and lifestyle adjustments like limiting alcohol, quitting smoking, and managing blood sugar levels are also essential to prevent further nerve damage. And even small changes in daily habits like walking mindfully, taking short breaks to move during long periods of sitting, or elevating your feet can improve circulation and reduce tingling, and noticing patterns such as when the tingling occurs or what activities trigger it allows you to better understand the health of your nervous system and take steps to protect it. And the key is to stay attentive to these subtle cues, because your body is trying to communicate important information about nerve health, and addressing tingling or numbness early can help maintain mobility, balance, and overall quality of life, giving your nerves the support they need to function properly and prevent more serious complications in the future.